Hello and welcome, students. We are now proving, uh, we are solving this question using derivative. Prove that tan inverse of x plus cot inverse x is pi by 2. The second one is sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x is pi by 2. So I will take the first, I will solve for you the second question. So the second question is to prove that sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equals to pi by 2, and then they have given us a condition here for mod of x greater than or equal to 1. Now remember, students, this condition mod of x is greater than or equal to 1 is a necessary condition whenever sec inverse x and cosec inverse x is defined. I repeat again, mod of x greater than or equal to 1 is a necessary condition for sec inverse x and cosec inverse x. What it means? It means whenever sec inverse of x, cosec inverse of x are defined, it is only when the x is satisfying this condition. What is that condition? Mod of x has to be greater than or equal to 1. So in short, I will tell you, when mod of x is greater than or equal to 1, what exactly is x? What exactly is x? I will tell you. So think this is our number line. This is our number line. So on this number line we have the positive of x-axis, and here this is negative of x-axis. Okay, and then in between, this is our number line, and here I have in between, here I have number 0, this is number 1, positive 1, and this is negative 1. Then this way it continues, and here I will have positive infinity. This side it will be negative infinity. Okay. Now that if the x value is, if the variable x takes all these values, if the variable x takes all these values, that is, it is taking values greater than 1, then mod of x will be greater than 1. Mod of x will be greater than 1. If x is taking values like this, then mod of x will be greater than 1. Okay. Also, if variable x is taking all these values, tell me, students, if x is taking all these values, what does that mean? Very simple. If x is taking all these values, what did I say? I said that x is greater than 1. Now if x value is greater than 1, what is happening? Mod of x is also greater than 1. What is meaning of mod of a number? Mod of a number is magnitude of that number. It is magnitude of that number. X is a variable. When x is greater than 1, mod of x is greater than 1. Now come on this side. When x is taking these numbers as its value, think on it, students. Listen to this attentively. Be very careful. If x is taking all these numbers, so what is happening? X is being lesser than negative 1. See, negative 1.5, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. These all values, when x takes, x is lesser than negative 1. But what will be mod of x? Mod of x will be greater than 1. Is that clear to you, students? The x value is negative, but when you see its magnitude is greater than 1. Okay. If x is negative 3, mod of x is 3. If x is negative 5, mod of x is 5. So for all these x, mod of x is greater than 1. Okay. And when x is here, listen, students, when x is here, what is x equals to? X equals to minus 1. And if x is minus 1, students, then what is mod of x equals to mod of x is 1 equal to 1. Mod of x is equal to 1. If x is -1, its magnitude is equal to 1. And when x is positive 1, when x is equal to positive 1, then what is mod of x equals to? Mod of x equals to 1. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you are given this condition, when you are given mod of x greater than or equal to 1, you should understand what value is x taking. X is taking these values, -1 or lesser, +1 or greater. -1 or lesser, +1 or greater. So see, when mod of x, if I'm given that mod of x, when I'm given that mod of x is greater than or equal to 1, then what values is x taking? X is taking -1, lesser, +1, greater. See, if mod of x is greater than or equal to 1, if mod of x is greater than or equal to 1, then x is -1 or lesser, x is +1 or greater. So I have explained this to you. Now we go ahead. So here, remember, what I have to prove? I have to prove that sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. This is what I have to prove. Now my trick to prove this is as follows. I will write the left hand side, I will assume the left hand side as f of x. So see here what I write. I write let sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equals to f of x. Now after having written this, what will happen is, what I had to prove, my objective will change. My goal now be different. What was my goal earlier? My goal was, I had to prove sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x equals to pi by 2. This was my goal. I had to prove sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse x is pi by 2. But what is happening, students? I am taking this left hand side as f of x. So my goal will now change. So see here what I am writing. I will now write, hence we can say that we have to prove f of x equals to pi by 2. What we have to prove? We have to prove that f of x equals to pi by 2. This is now my new goal, which is equivalent to my earlier goal. This is my new goal, which is equivalent to earlier goal. Why? Because once I will have proved f of x equals to pi by 2, actually I will have proved the required, because f of x is sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x. Okay. Now see, student, how do I achieve my goal? I write differentiating 1 with respect to x. Everybody follow this. I will write differentiating 1 with respect to x. Differentiating 1 on both sides with respect to x. So I will get, see, I am talking about this is 1. So I will get 1 upon x root of x square minus 1 plus minus 1 upon x root of x square minus 1 equals to f of x. Now here you have this and this added. You check they are negative of each other. So what will happen, students? The sum of these two will be 0. So I am getting, okay, and this will be f dash x, because when you are differentiating, d by dx of sec inverse x is 1 upon x root of x square minus 1 plus as it is, and d by dx of cosec inverse x is minus 1 upon x root of x square minus 1. And what is on the RHS? RHS, I am getting d by dx of f of x. I am getting d by dx of f of x. What is d by dx of f of x? It is f dash x. See here, I have written f dash x. Okay. the next step, what happens is the left hand side becomes 0 and here right hand side is f dash x. So f dash x is equal to 0. This is equation number 3. Now when I see that f dash x is 0, I understand that f of x is a constant. Why? Because only constant function can have their derivative 0. So I write here, hence f of x is a constant function. F of x is a constant function. Why it is a constant function, students? Because only constant function can have their derivative 0. Only constant function can have their derivative 0. If I'm having f of x equals to c and I write differentiating with respect to x, what will happen next step? On the left hand side you will get d by dx of f of x. On the right hand side you will get d by dx of c. So d by dx of c is 0. And what is d by dx of f of x? F dash x. So remember students, if you are getting f dash x as 0, it means the function f of x was a constant function. The function f of x was not having any x on the right hand side. It did not depend on x. It was independent of x. So what is happening here, students? I have got f dash x as 0, so I have understood that f of x is a constant function. Hence we can write Hence, we can write f of x equals to c. Okay, f of x is a constant function, so I am writing f of x equals to c. If you want, you can write m, p, r, whatever. It hardly matters. Okay, where c is a constant, f of x equals to c, where c is a constant. Okay. So now students, see what we will do next. Now once I have got f of x as c, what was my f of x, students? This I write as equation number 4. Let me write this as equation number 4. What was my f of x? My f of x, if you remember, we had assumed f of x to be sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x. So I substitute here and see what I get. I get therefore f of x was sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x. Therefore we have what we have. We have sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equals to c. And you know, students, this particular statement which I wrote here, this particular statement is true for all x. This particular statement is true for all x. What I mean is, whatever value of x you substitute here, sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x will always be a constant. Whichever x value you substitute, you may put x2, you may put x1, you may put x3, you may put x minus 4. It hardly matters. You can put whatever x value, this will always be a constant. Okay, so it is actually, you can call that it is true for all x value in the given condition. Yes, you cannot put 0. Remember students, in that equation number 5, in this equation number 5, I cannot substitute the values which are here, which are here. I cannot substitute these values. I cannot substitute lesser than 1 and greater than minus 1. X lesser than 1 and greater than minus 1, I cannot substitute this. Why? Because it has to be this red shaded region, x value. This was the condition. Okay, so what I do is, since I can substitute any values from the given condition, what I will do is I write here, put x equals to 1 in 5. So see what I get. I get therefore sec inverse 1 plus cosec inverse 1 equals to c. Now tell me students, what is the meaning of sec inverse 1? Sec inverse 1 means for what angle sec value is 1, and we know that is 0. Sec 0, sec of 0 is 1. So 0 will be sec inverse 1. And what more we know? We know cosec pi by 2 is 1. So pi by 2 will be cosec inverse 1. So if I ask you for what angle is cosec value 1? Cosec inverse 1 means cosec inverse 1 is an angle. So when you have cosec inverse 1, it means for what angle cosec value is 1. That angle is pi by 2. So here you write plus pi by 2 equals to c. So you got finally 0 plus pi by 2 is pi by 2, c equals to pi by 2, and you substitute this in 5. You substitute this in 5. So I write using c in 5, we get what you get. You get the actual thing. What you get, students? Sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equals to pi by 2. So this now you can say you have proved. Proved. Hence proved. Students, you will solve now this problem on your own, and also you will solve sine inverse x plus cos inverse x equals to pi by 2. You will also solve this. Okay? Please. Thank you.